Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 2023 Anime of the Year episode. As always, presented by Honda. 14 winners will be taking home the coveted Golden Guts Award, and one will be joining Bocchi the Rock, Odd Taxi, Jujutsu Kaisen.
I'm sorry, I wasn't ready for it. Okay,
it was Toyota last year.
No, it's always been Honda.
I don't remember that joke at all.
Oh yeah, every year it's presented by Honda. All right, okay. Great start. Okay,
they're a client of mine.
So, before Miles rudely interrupted me, 14 winners will be taking home the coveted Golden Guts Award, and one will be joining the likes of Bocchi the Rock, Odd Taxi, Jujutsu Kaisen, and Vinland Saga as your Anime of the Year. If this is your first time joining us, our awards work as so. Each category will have a runner-up and a winner voted on by the community, along with my personal runner-up and winner. Join me in our awards is Miles and Pat, as they play along and play a fun guessing game to see who can correctly guess the most winners, and you, the audience, can play along as well. Thanks again to everyone out there who voted. We were able to raise $100 for the Carolina Manga Library to help provide a free service for people to access manga and graphic novels. Before we jump into our first category, Miles and Pat, what were some of your thoughts of the year that was?
Yeah, so I loved 2023 in anime. I thought it was a great year. So I'm just going to take this time to highlight a show near and dear to me that will not get mentioned for any of these awards.
You are correct.
And that is Yuri Is My Job. It realistically should be nominated for, I don't know, like maybe one of these if I squint at it. However, you know, a lot of the shows that I really loved, we're going to talk about like ad nauseum here, you know. So I'll get to them there, but I just wanted to highlight that as a little silver lining that I really enjoyed this season, and no one else did. It is like a 6-7 on Mal. So,
yeah, it's really bad on Mal for something. I thought you were joking when you said it was one of your favorite shows of the year.
Yeah, no, I'd love it.
Fair enough. Sweet. Yeah, and I like Miles just said, I think a lot of the shows that I really enjoyed are we're going to talk about. The only one probably not. It was great to see a reboot. One of my favorite manga, Kenshin. Don't have to say much else on it. It was fun. Really good reboot though. So I can't wait for season 2 coming this coming year. And yeah, I agree though with Miles as well. Really fun year of anime. A lot of different shows that I didn't expect to like as well that I ended up really enjoying. And I'm sure we'll touch on those as we go through our nominations.
I agree. I think for me being a seasonal watcher, I think this is the best year of anime I've ever watched for seasonals. I had something like 6 10s and 12 9s. So it was a very impressive year. Also, my highest ever dropped. I dropped 27 shows. So you take the good, you take the bad. And then
how many did you complete though? Because the number is absurd to me.
I finished like 67 seasonals.
That's insane
like that.
To me. Yeah, that's so crazy. I finished, I don't know, 20 something, and like I was like, oh, I watched a lot of anime this year.
Yeah,
so
it was a lot. Yeah, I finished it something with counting Watch Club and just by myself. It was like 118 shows this year. So yeah,
a show every 3 days.
Yeah, it was a busy year. It was a busy year for me. So I'm happy. I watched a lot of good anime. I'm really happy to consume all of that content, gentlemen. Let's dive into our first category. Just like with any show, we start with the OP. Our nominations for Best OP were Idol from Oshinoko, Crack Crack Crackle from Undead Girl Murder Farce, Tombi from Trigun Stampede, Song of the Dead from Zom 100, Mellow from Skip and Loafer, and Innocent Arrogance from Heavenly Delusion.
Yeah, great OPs this year. My favorite out of this list is Idol for Oshinoko. I think that's going to be a relatively common sentiment. It was like the most popular song in the world for a pretty substantial amount of time, which is insane for an anime OP. So that's going to be my guess for the community vote, just because of how insanely popular it was. I think that, you know, sometimes when things are so popular and like a little time has passed, because that was spring, that like maybe there'll be some, you know, like flashback or people have like a more recent thing in their head or something, but I don't think that's going to matter for Idol. And also none of these are like fall OPs, I don't think.
Yes,
I guess like Song of the Dead sort of.
Kind of, I guess.
Yeah, like in there.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because of all the delays. But that was one of the weaker ones for me. personally. I did enjoy it. I think it's catchy, but there's just so many good bangers this year. For Pete's, I'm gonna go with Tombi for Trigun, and the reason behind that is that we would argue about if this was a good OP or not, and I don't understand it being on the list. I think it's fine, and so my only thought is that it's a pet Pete pick, the PvP for short. And I also remember him saying it was his favorite OP, but that was also like in spring, so a lot of time to change, of course. But that's my guess, and also just because I don't know, I don't want to say idle sweep, so that's my.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I'm gonna go with idle sweep. I think it's gonna be idle for both Heat and for community. I mean, like you said, it was earlier in the year, but that was like the most dominant. I think we all came into all the voters came in expecting it to be just miles ahead of everything else. So I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if Pete picked something else. He likes to be different, but I don't know. All these songs are good too. I agree with you though, Miles. Zom 100's OP, like it was catchy, but a little bit too much like English going on for me. Like I liked the ED so much more than the OP for Zom 100.
I just didn't like the zombies farting at the beginning. It like really ruined it.
It's kind of weird, yeah. The visuals were cool, but it was a little. I don't know. That show was a lot. It was a lot at different times, right? And I think that OP did a good job of at least like showing that too. Though
it did like the replays of the episodes, right? Which was fun. I thought that. I don't know, Pete. Give us your thoughts on these OPs, and then tell us the winners.
Yeah, so there's a handful. This was a tough one to narrow down to 6. That's the problem with us only choosing 6. That's why I tried to reach out to a bunch of different people, a bunch of different communities to try to get different voices. I think Song of the Dead, what you talk about, I think it's really colorful. It's really fun. The animations add a lot to the song, and some people base OP a lot on visuals. I'm more of what the song is more than anything above that, but I get why Song of the Dead is on here. I think all of these, in my personal like top 10 of the year, like 5 of these are probably in my top 10. So I thought this was like a really strong year for OPs, and I'm really looking forward to telling you guys who won and the percentages. So let's just get right to it. Coming in for your community runner-up with 15.7% of the vote, we had Mellow from Skip and Loafer.
It's a good one.
Very good one.
Yeah. And my runner-up went to Crack Crack Crackle, which was my most listened to OP of the year.
Ooh,
from Undead Girl Murder Farce. I'm basing this one purely off the song. I think it's super fun. I love the J-pop. It's just like an overall fantastic song to a really fun show. To the winners with 42.7% of the votes, we have Idol. No surprise.
Yeah.
And then for me, of course, it's Idol. It's 100% Idol.
Yeah.
It's hard not to pick Idol. Like Miles said, at one point it was the most streamed song in the world. I think it finished like 3rd at the end of the year. Like no OP has like ever done that. It's insane. Where it's like you're looking at the charts, it's like Bad Bunny and then Idol. It's like, what the fuck? Like, it's pretty crazy the reach that this song had. It like they played like Coachella and stuff like that. That Yasubi was like everywhere this year. So props.
It was my most played song of the year.
Yeah,
like out of every song. So it wasn't Lana Del Rey finally for
finally. I guess I want to give a shout to like sometimes my personal ones didn't get on here. Story from The Girl I Like Forgot Her Glasses was actually like my real number 2, but since it didn't make the list, it's not on here. I love that. Were there any OPs that we missed that you want to shout out?
Yeah, I would love to shout out Apothecary Diaries OP1. I know Pete and I disagree about if the song fits the series
the Shakira
OP. But I think it's great. I think it sort of shows Mau Mau's like inner self in like a fun way, because I think that at the end of the day, like even though she like wants to be sort of hidden, she is also a bit of a diva. Like I think she loves the drama, and so I think that fits her well, and I think it's going to fit well in retrospect once we see more of the story. Also, you guys, I hope everyone wants to hear me say good things about Apothecary Diaries, because I will be saying good things about it multiple times throughout this series. But that's one that I wanted to shout out.
For me, just does Birdie Wing count? Because it's
sure.
Yes,
it's technically the same one as the OG, but man, that song is so catchy. Other than that, nothing in particular stood out. Like that wasn't on this list, at least again, it's Idol. Idol was just so good. It was
It really was. So
really good.
community winner, Idol. My winner, Idol. Moving on to our best ED of the year. Our nominations were Mephisto from Oshi no Ko, Without Love from Vinland Saga, Red Birthmark from G-Witch, Anywhere, Anytime from Freeren, Like a Flower from Endo and Kobayashi, and More Than Words from Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah, okay. What another, I mean, honestly, and I probably do this every year. I can't remember what I say, but what a great list of songs, right? One, I'm really excited to see Like a Flower on here. Endo and Kobayashi was definitely like an anime that if it was 7 episodes, I would have loved a lot more than I did love the 12 episodes of it. But every time ending that ED, it just hit. I think it's good. I thought it was, I get it stuck in my head still. I think it's great. So I'm glad we saw that because that was sort of like, I don't think it was like a super popular anime.
Not
or
at
anything.
all.
So I think, yeah. So good shout there, Pete. For me, I think Mephisto was like the big one this year. People, I mean, Oshi no Ko was just a show, right? Like, what a heavy hitter. But for me, Red Birthmark, it may even be my favorite ED ever. I love it. I think it's great. The visuals, the vocalization, like with that, I think it's just so good and fitting for Soletta's story. So that would have been my winner if there was a Miles category here. I'm going to go community. This is tough. Mephisto, and then I'm going to go Pete, Red Birthmark. Those are my guesses, but I could see Pete picking like a lot of these, honestly. I know you really loved the Vinland one. I haven't watched season 2 of Vinland yet, so I've only seen what I've played. Like I played it once or twice to familiarize myself with it, but I don't know if it has that resonance. But I remember when Red Birthmark came out, everyone was in the Discord at least was pretty blown away by it. So that's my guess there. But I wouldn't be surprised if you pick Mephisto or really any of these. I guess I personally thought the Freeren OP was a little stronger than the ED, but I do like the ED. I might have I probably would have included like the Megamine ED on here. I really liked that.
That was like on the chopping block for the last couple.
That's
fun.
Like very comfy. Like I think I liked that show more than most people did. I thought it was fun, like a lot of fun, and just the little happy dancing Megamine and Union at the end of it made me happy. So Pat, what are your thoughts here?
I think I'm gonna go Mephisto for community as well, just because again, it's crazy. The Idol show has the best music, like wow, like shocking, right? I think I agree with your logic with what Pete was thinking as well, like for Red Birthmark, because I remember both of you guys really were really high on G-Witch all throughout, but I'm actually gonna go with Without Love for Pete.
I think it's a good choice.
Okay.
I think that's gonna be my guess because I also am on I haven't downloaded, but I haven't watched it yet. I haven't had enough flights lately to watch Vinland Saga season 2, but I can't wait to because it's man, the wheat, baby, the wheat, right? Or is it the farming arc? Wheat. I remember it was like, what was it? Wheat Farmer Tuesdays or something. Everyone ready for
Farming Simulator Tuesdays or something. Yeah.
Yeah, that meme was so good, and I don't know, every song that's ever come out of Vinland has been really awesome too. So I do feel like I remember you talking about it though too.
Right on. So just for the community, runner-up and winner was the difference was 1 vote. That's how tight this race was. So the community runner-up with 20.2% of the vote is Red Birthmark.
Let's go.
And my runner-up this one was really tough. I went back and forth, but my runner-up is Without Love. I think it just represented the show so well, where Thorfinn is at like his lowest and is really searching for something to continue moving on forward. And I think like the idea of like love that he finds within like during this whole like mainstay as a farmer, it just captured the emotion so well. So Without Love goes to my runner up. So the community winner with 22.5% of the vote is Mephisto, which was also my winner. It was really tight, but I think what separated it for me was the impact that Mephisto had on the show while it like transitioned out of the last scenes into the ED of Oshi no Ko was just so well done.
The Akane scene, when it's playing in the background, is like, whoa!
Yeah, when the double star eyes, and it's just like Jesus Christ, like
Yeah.
it adds.
I mean, no bias here, but
I mean, that scene is. If I had like a moment of the year, that would be top 3, and it ate 2. Like it was such an impactful scene.
So it's
but like
3.
yeah,
it's top 3, it ate 2. That's all I'm
yeah,
saying.
So is it
3 or
1 or 3?
It's 1 or 3. Yeah.
Okay,
But I think
that's yeah.
I think that
So-
I had to differentiate the two. That's what it was. I think something like Red Birthmark, like vocally, is I think by far the best song.
God,
But
it's so good.
It just didn't hit me like the other two did with their impacts to the actual story.
What about when Soletta gets jettisoned into space and they start playing it in the background?
It's great. Don't get me wrong. Red Birthmark is like any other year, like Red Birthmark would probably win, like except for 9 from Shadow's House. But like outside of that, like Red Birthmark is just an absolute slammer. So I gotta give props for props is due.
I was wondering too, like Miles, you said like, oh, it's your favorite ED of all time. Like, does 3.0 plus 1.0 not exist? Like didn't
that is so good too. I mean, oh god, it's tough. I mean, I'd have to think about it, right? Like that's one of them. We didn't get to talk about that one though because we like didn't do movie EDs or whatever. God, I don't know. I mean, it's up there though, right? Like I'll say confidently top 5, and then depending on my mood, like maybe top
yeah,
1.
for sure.
Like it's tough to tell.
All right,
it's
so
top
that
5, but it ain't 5, 4, 3, 2,
exactly.
or 1.
There you
It's
go.
that isn't.
It's top 5 and it's not a prime number. So
yeah.
So
4.
we're back to back. Oh, she sleeps. Math jokes.
We got like hours ahead of us to do this stuff.
Love it.
It's okay. At the end, we're gonna be like best comedy. Yeah, these were funny shows. I think it's 100 Girlfriends. The end. It's
okay. So back on track. ED winners for both the community and myself was Mephisto. Moving on to our characters, we have best non-human. Our nominees were Sui from Campfire Cooking in Another World, Ariel from G-Witch, Hakuto from My New Boss is Goofy, Yukichi from The Masterful Cat is Depressed, Emil from Shangri-La Frontier, and Gachette from Pluto.
What is Emil doing here?
Emil's great.
Refuse.
Watch your mouth. You're like the only person who doesn't like Emil.
Emil made the show worse.
Literally stopped me from dropping the show.
Honestly, fair enough. Something had to, right?
Yeah.
What a disappointing show. But that's neither here nor there.
We'll talk about it next year. Or not. If it depends if it gets nominated.
It's not going to get nominated for
it might.
Next year.
Best fantasy, maybe? I don't know.
Nah. So for me, this is very Ariel, right? Like that's like, I mean, here we have my scale model Ariel that I put together. So, like, I'm a massive fan of Ariel and Ari and that entire show. As far as what people are thinking here, for Pete, I know who I'm voting for. It's going to be Sui, I believe. Because I think that you said you made this category so that you could give them an award. I think I remember.
I might have said that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's true or not, but layup, in my opinion. I also haven't watched Pluto, and that person from Pluto looks like a person, so I'm curious about what they are.
They are a robot.
Okay. For people who are missing from this, in my opinion, I feel like Psyduck should be up here.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, like from Pokemon Concierge, Psyduck's my boy. It's just like a fun Pokemon. So, I don't know. For the community vote, this is tough for me. I would either go with Ariel. This is just based off how popular these shows are, because like a lot of these shows aren't super popular shows. Emul's from a popular show, and then Pluto is like a really big deal. So like I'm just going to go with the Pluto character based off of nothing but knowing how much people love Pluto. That's my guess.
Okay.
All right, let me tell you why you're wrong, Miles.
It's fair.
No, it's going to be definitely Sui. I agree with you for Pete's nomination. Like I do remember him saying something very similar. For me, I think it would be Yukichi. I think that from the clips I saw from that show of Master Cat's Always Depressed, it looked he was awesome. He is such a funny character. I do think though for the community, they are also gonna go with Sui. I mean, Sui Sweep was being said constantly. Like
I think
I,
that was by the 3 people who had watched the show, though.
don't you know our community? You know, like
He reaches out for this one, though. There's
yeah,
real community
fair.
vote on this.
That's fair, but then like G Witch would just win everything, and I feel like Pluto too was pretty like not niche, but it wasn't outside like in terms of like grand fandom of anime, not just like people who are anime fans. I guess like I would say like Pluto wasn't as big. I don't know if I'm talking out my ass here, but I
Yeah,
don't
it
think
might just
it's
be
a
him,
very like
Yule. I don't know, because Shangri-La is really popular for
yeah,
whatever.
it was.
So,
My coworker told me to watch Shangri-La like 2 days ago, and I was like,
nah.
sure. No, I was like, sure, that looks funny, and then I'm not gonna watch it. So
Just watch Solo Leveling.
yeah,
Yes, do. It's good.
but yeah, I think it's a Sui sweep.
Sui Sweep.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so community runner-up, we actually had a tie with 15.7% of the vote. We had Sui and Gachette
Okay, that's our
Tie-
2 picks.
tying for runner-up. My runner-up went to Gachette. I thought he was absolutely incredible as the lead, like, detective character in Pluto. He was just an absolute treat, especially seeing the progression from episode 1 to, like, episode 5 was just, oh my god, it was so good. Love Gachette. Let's go to our winners with 21.3% of the vote. We had Ariel from G-Witch take home the community dub. And of course, you nailed it. It's a free layup. It's Sui. Not only Sui was my favorite non-human character, he was my favorite character, period, this year. I loved Sui. Listen, and enjoyment is part of my factor for when I rate shows. No character made me more happy. I had more fun than when Sui was on screen. So shout out to these ones. And I think one that got left out that maybe should have, but I think I don't know, might have been too hard of a sweep was Bond.
I was about to say
Bond was
that's
great.
mine.
Yeah.
Vaughn would have won if I was like. Oh,
I feel
man,
like he was only in like a few episodes, so I felt like a lot of these characters were in a lot of episodes, so that's kind of why I left Bond out. But I definitely think Bond is deserving of being nominated. So want to give tip of the hat to Bond.
Oh, he's so good. Like, and you are right though. He wasn't on like the boat cruise at all, right? Which was like 6 episodes of the show or something like that. And he was the star of every other episode at some point.
It's true.
But so good. Like the the episode where I tried to explain it to my parents because they know I cosplayed Bond and they know Spy Family. They've watched a few episodes, and I was explaining to them the episode where he like sees the future and is like walking with Lloyd and trying to like prevent things from happening, but just looks like he's attacking people or that he's like just causing a big commotion, and they loved it. Like again, it's such a great show.
It's really good. So shout out to Bond. Now let's get into the spice. Moving on to Best Boy. We have 10 nominations for this one. Your nominees are Thorfinn from Vinland Saga, Bash from Trigun Stampede, Aqua from Oshinoko, Kyoka from My Happy Marriage, Gojo from Jujutsu Kaisen, Rentaro from 100 Girlfriends, Akira from Zom 100, Suguru from Undead Girl Murder Farce, Gakuto from the Izuki Family's Four Sons, and Senku from Dr. Stone.
Yeah, another pretty like really strong candidates, and also Rentaro, who I hate. And I hate everything about that show. I know it's an unpopular opinion, and I'm buried underneath the hill, but I will die there and decay, and my bones will be fossilized, and I will not move.
Thank you for your service.
I also think Vash is kind of weak here. Like, I enjoy Trigun, but I guess like other people liked him more. He's not even like my favorite character from the show.
I mean, Thousand Eyes is so cool.
I mean, yeah, and like the guy with the cross on his back, whose name I can't remember, he was cooler too. Yeah. And like honestly, the reporter guy, and like I don't know, I just wasn't a big.
Vash is kind of badass.
I mean, yeah, he's not badass. I don't know. He wouldn't have been my pick. As for my picks for the community and Pete, I'm doing a Thorfinn sweep. I think, from all the discourse I have heard, that is just the options for people that I would consider including. I know he's like a flashback character, but I'd include Himmel from Frieren. I think he is great, and the impact he has on the show is momentous despite the relatively limited screen time. And then anyone else that I would think about putting on, I don't know. I think all the choices are very good. It's tough. I think I would pick Kyoka as my best boy from this list. I believe I voted for him, but it's tough because the characters are all interesting and good. But like I like Aqua as a character a lot, but he isn't really like best boy to me. He's a little too manipulative, I guess. And like Kyoka is, or maybe Gojo. I do love me some Gojo. Those are the options. But as far as like the spirit of best boy, I think Kyoka is just such a good guy that I went with him.
He is a very good boy.
Yeah, I agree that Pete's answer is going to be Thorfinn from Vinland Saga. Again, so high on that show throughout the spring, or was it even winter?
Yeah, it rolled into winter from the previous year, right? Yeah. No, I don't remember. It came out this year.
It came out that, well, either way.
Yeah.
It was, when it was airing, it was just every week was just, oh my god, this is the best episode ever. This is the best episode ever. Thorfinn's so well written. I'm gonna go, I guess, with a hot take here because Miles, you didn't even mention him here. I think Senku is gonna win the community vote just because Dr. Stone, I think, it hits a wider net of people. Just
yeah, that's fair. I'm relatively mid on Senku. Like I do enjoy him, but sometimes it gets a little like, we know it's sciences here, that it annoys me. So like I think that's a good shout because I don't think I would have picked
too. So that's
yeah. Well, that's like, I mean, he puts like E equals MC square on his shirt. Like come on, bro. Like
really
but I do
that.
like him. Not as much as Trent does, but yes, I do not like it. It is. I mean, it's like baby's first advanced science thing.
Sure,
like
I get you. Well, let's get into our winners. The runner-up first from the community with 12.4% of the vote went to Gojo from Jujutsu Kaisen.
I do love me some Gojo.
That makes sense.
I went with Kyoka from My Happy Marriage as my runner-up.
Good choice.
I loved everything about Kyoka this season. He was, finally fighting something that he's like want to like fight for and hold on to with Mio. Like it was wonderful. I loved everything that he did. The winner with 18% of the vote went to Thorfinn, and you guys had it on the head. I also went with Thorfinn. Just a masterclass of character development in Vinland Saga this year. Just literally changing his entire life from being a child soldier to like a pacifist, and sort of that transition and how it all came to be. Like it wasn't just a jump from him doing that. Like we saw the events that changed who he was as a person. And to me, that was what absolutely stood out. Just a masterclass of character development. So Thorfinn gets the sweep. Gentlemen, any thoughts on Best Boys before we move to the next one?
I think that makes perfect sense from everything I've heard, and I'm happy Kyoka was your runner up. From our little, like when we went and guested on Shoujo Sunday, you'll notice that like the last few episodes, I jumped up on him because I was a little skeptical of our boy until like the end of that season, but he definitely got me on board at the end.
This is fun because this episode is going to come out before that episode comes out. So spoiler, we're on Shoujo Sunday.
Okay. Well.
Nah, it's all good. I don't think anybody cares. So, Pat, any final words?
I really liked Akira from Zom 100.
Me too.
I wish he won.
Likable.
He's awesome. He's positive. He was intelligent, a bit naive, but like still relatively smart. And I really liked his character arcs. I related a lot to what he was, especially that final arc.
Yeah,
so,
those last couple episodes really sold me on him.
Yeah, I was hit really hard.
And he grew dread, so that's cool. Okay, best boy.
Yeah,
now let's get to the real spice. Best girl, everyone's favorite category. Our nominations are from Tomo-chan is a Girl, we have Carol. From Oshinoko, we have Kana. From Skip and Loafer, we have Mitsumi. From G-Witch, we have Suleta. From The Sacrificial Princess, we have Sarfari. From Undergirl Murder Force, we have Ayarindo. From The Apothecary Diaries, we have Mao Mao. From Free Ren, we have Free Ren. From Spy Family, we have Yor. And from Insomniacs After School, we have Magari.
So first off, I want to say something that my wife told me when I told her what episode we were doing today. She said, if Mao Mao doesn't win, I will hurt you. And I said, I have no control over this. And she said, I will flip your desk over. So to everyone in the past who's already voted, please vote for Mao. This is a very stacked list for me. Best boy, not as stacked in my opinion. Like, it's good characters and everything, but some people like really hit for me in the best girl category. Last year, I gave best girl to Soletta. She's back up here. We have Mao Mao, who is potentially one of my favorite anime characters just ever, and that's who I would give it to. Spoiler alert. Kana is great, even if I like to meme that she's the fourth best girl in her show because that's what she is. But the characters in the show are great, and so you can't go wrong with her. You know, she'd be the first best girl in a lot of shows. Marguerite is someone who has a heart condition and loves looking at the stars. Was like a very impactful character for me. That show was really good. I loved Insomniacs. It was just a really touching show for me. Fryren, of course, is great. Just really, every character is so good on this list. You know, I haven't seen the most recent Spy Family, but I'm excited to see Yor deserving to be up here because I feel like she was a little underutilized early on.
For sure.
So seeing that is great. So I'm giving this to Mao Mao, and I'm going to have faith in the community that the community is going to give this to Mao Mao. It's tough because I can see almost any of these characters winning. I can't see the sacrificial princess girl winning just because her show isn't quite the caliber of everything else. From like a popularity standpoint, that's not to touch to the quality of it. I think more realistically, Yor or Fryren will probably win this. Maybe Mitsumi, I don't know, but I have to say Mao Mao because she's my girl.
Okay.
And so that's what I'm doing. For Pete, I know it's not Mao Mao because you said Mao Mao was your fourth favorite girl this last season or something like that.
Something like that.
So, you know, like, despite the fact that you're wrong, doesn't, you know, but like, I'm still trying to guess correctly here. I'm going to say it's Kana. You get upset when I shit talk Kana more than anyone else. And, you know, that's my guess. That's who I'm doing for Pete.
I can't wait for you to see how great Yor is in this new season, Miles. Oh my god. So it's great. She actually is a character. She's a person. She has character development. It's great in this season of Spy Family. So I think that out of this list, she would be my pick. Shout out Kaoru from Kenshin. Always gonna be a great girl, especially. Well, I guess next arc will probably cover her more. But either way, I'm gonna go with Community. I think I'm gonna go with Fryren. I just can't see anyone like
Yeah.
not. Yeah, you know, like that show is so popular, and a lot of it is because of Fryren and the memes of her like doing the silly face holding up the bottle. Like there's so many
Men love this.
viewers. Yeah, everyone loves Fryren apparently. I wouldn't be the only one that you didn't mention. It might be Carol. It really might be Carol. People loved Carol in Tomo-chan. So I feel like if that show aired this past season, it would have done a lot better in the vote. But yeah, so I am gonna go with Fryren for Community, and then as for Pete, I think the oddball would be Suletta here. So I'm gonna go with Suletta. I do think he really loved G-Witch, and again, just like with Vinland, he was talking a lot about Suletta and the character development there. So those are my answers. Lock it in.
I will not complain if
Locked in. All right, here we go. Community runner up with 15.7% of the vote went to Mitsumi from Skip and Loafer.
That makes sense to me.
Okay. Yeah.
My runner up was Suletta. I
Okay.
absolutely loved her the second half. Everything about her was just incredible. I loved G-Witch because of Suletta. Suletta does not forget to.
She does not.
Just the goat. Winner with 28.1% of the vote went to Mao Mao. The Mao Mao sweep is real. Don't underestimate the community. My winner, though, I think this might be a shock. I think she absolutely carried the show.
Sarifi.
Sarifi from Sacrificial Princess.
Okay.
I loved everything about her. She played all these different roles so well. When she had to be the queen, she played the queen. When she had to play the warrior, she played the warrior. When she had to play like anything else in the show, she played the role so well and just adapted to every situation that I fell in love with her. She was such a great character, and I think she's absolutely deserving of this award. So she gets the golden guts from me. So anybody that you thought that got left off that you thought maybe should have been a best girl?
I think there are a lot of, and this is like an intentional decision on the community's part and your part.
Yep.
We talked about how to curate these lists, but like, I think a lot of Oshi characters could be on there. Like I obviously would put like Akane on there, and holy hell, what is her name? Yes, and like it had, as I think, like pound for pound, like per scene, is probably one of the most impactful characters of this entire season. But I mean, I get the Kana pick because of that. Fryren, of course, you could have Fern in there.
I wanted Fern instead of Freerin in here just because I think Freerin shines later in the show and Fern stole the show in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more of a Fryren guy than a Fern guy, but I don't think you could go wrong with either. Fern is basically just Rika Farud, and I love that character. So, that's good. And then even from like G-Witch, I think that you could have put like Mio in here if you wanted to. Like I think Suletta obviously gets it, but I wouldn't have surprised to see Mio in there if we were doing like a longer list with multiple entries per character. And then I would have put Hime from Yuri as my job in there. Fight me, bitches.
No one's going to fight you because nobody watched that show.
I would have put the blonde from Zom 100 in there because she.
Oh, Beatrice, she was great.
Oh,
good name, solid name,
very solid name, and a lot of things are solid about her. She was awesome.
Yeah, she was really good.
She have big boobs.
What?
Is that the joke?
Okay. That was the joke.
She's got abs too. She's got abs too. Come on.
All right. So that was best girl. So yeah, community winner was Mao Mao and mine was Sarfi. Moving on to our categories for the shows themselves is action and adventure. Your nominees are Freerin, Jujutsu Kaisen, Heavenly Delusion, Trigun Stampede, One Piece, and Hell's Paradise.
Okay. So one, I hate this combination of action adventure. I understand why we have to do it, right? But like, it's just weird to me to have like JJK and Fryren in the same category. They just feel like such different shows. Fryren is definitely an adventure, but it's also like this very calm, sort of retrospective, introspective journey sort of thing. And then, JJK is this like nonstop fucking adrenaline fest. And then I mean, I don't know. God, One Piece is also throwing me for a loop here because like I don't know what's happening.
That was,
I know
it was the end of Wano, so the end of like a major arc happened.
Yeah. Okay. So many. I mean, oh god, I loved Hell's Paradise. I thought that was a great show. I think it does a good job of combining both the action and the adventure. Heavenly Delusion, I guess I would have viewed a little more as like our mystery sort of category. That's sort of how I interfaced with it. Not to say that there isn't action or adventure in there. I think there definitely is. But I think compared to these other shows, it's like a little weaker in that category. Not to say it's like a weaker show or anything. My choice here would be Fryren. I think Fryren is just a phenomenal piece of media. And it does the adventure part of this and the action part of this very well. For the community pick, I'm going to pick Fryren. I wouldn't be surprised if it's JJK, but I'm just, you got to pick one, so I'm picking Fryren. Could also be One Piece, but I don't know anything about One Piece, other than people really like One Piece. For the Pete pick is tough. I know you like picking things that have been completed. However, sometimes you pick things that haven't been completed.
This is true.
That is how it works.
Sometimes I do something, sometimes I don't do that.
Yes. But I mean, I know the preference you have.
Sure.
However, I'm going to go Fryren's sweep for this category.
Okay.
So I wouldn't be surprised if you picked anything that isn't One Piece here. I guess I'd be a little surprised if you picked Hell's Paradise. But I know you like Trigun a lot. I know you like, everyone loved JJK, everyone loves Fryren, people who watched Heavenly Delusion. So I wouldn't be surprised about any of that. So I guess the only thing I'd be super surprised if you picked is One Piece.
Sure, yeah.
Because I don't think you watched it. So.
The only show I've dropped twice, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think I'm picking it.
You really
Safe
liked
bet.
the live action though.
It was
so
great. The
you
live
never
action was
know.
really fun.
Yeah, no. I think it's a Friar sweep. I think there was enough discourse around the show, and I feel like I remember you saying you thought this arc of JJK was boring. I thought.
Ooh, I gave JJK a 10, so
Yeah, I remember Pete really liking JJK.
Oh, was
which
it? All right, then it was another person.
Like,
The
I would
other
not be
Pete.
surprised if this was a JJK sweep. Like, that would not be
That
surprising
was,
to me.
God, it's so annoying that it can be. But yeah, no, fair enough. No, I'm still gonna stick with Friar and Sweep though. I think that's the right play.
Right
here.
on.
Safe one. Safe play. I was thinking maybe Hell's Paradise, but Miles, you kind of talked me out of it for Pete. I remember Pete really liked. I thought he really liked Hell's Paradise.
He did, but it ends a little weak.
It does
I
end a little
think.
weak.
Yeah, and I think Pete agreed with me on that. And it's not like bad, but it's
Yeah.
just everything else here is such a banger that
Right.
it's a little weaker
Yeah.
there.
Fair enough. But yeah, all right, Friar and Sweep then.
If it makes you feel better, the third place for the community was Hell's Paradise. So,
Nice.
runner up with 23.6% of the vote went to Jujutsu Kaisen.
Okay.
I also picked Jujutsu Kaisen as my runner up. Shibuya was the hidden inventory. The first 7 episodes were a great backstory to see Gojo and Geto and set that up for Shibuya. And Shibuya was just, you're doing lines of cocaine every 15 minutes. It was just non-stop. It was wild. It was crazy. It's what I look for in like these battle action shonens where they sprinkled in just enough for me to care about the story, but they really put their budget into the animation and the fights and everything that went in Shibuya. It was an absolute rush. But the winner with 41.6% of the vote went to Frieren, which was also my pick.
Okay.
I mean, it's a generational anime. It's absolutely insane. Of course, it's Frieren. Might be hearing that name a little bit more throughout the as we get through the stories, but yeah, Frieren was just, I mean, an absolute delight this year. And the combination of the action and the adventure, you'll see in the next category with Best Fight, where we got the mix of the slice of life and the drama, but we also got a lot of battles and high quality animation from Madhouse. It was a mix of everything I wanted in these types of shows. So that's why I give the dub to Frieren.
Yeah, I love Frieren.
Yeah.
So no complaints. I'm excited that it won. I think it's a little bit of a bummer for JJK, which I think in years where Frieren didn't come out, it would be crushing this. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I think, I mean, not often do I say like we have like a generational anime currently airing, but that's what Frieren is. Like, it's legit. I mean, it's been number 1 on Mal for like 6 months or whatever. Like, we're witnessing something great, and it hits the note on everything. So yeah, winners for me and the community goes to Frieren. Moving on, who doesn't love a good fight? Our nominations for best fight are Yor and the Director versus the baddies in Spy Family, Minato versus Yuta and the Yuzuki family's 4 sons, Luffy versus Kaido, which is Gear 5 for those who don't know, for One Piece, Ferdinand Stark versus Line and Lunger from Frieren, Chozo versus Yuji in Jujutsu Kaisen, and Zhaoshi and Ling versus Ma in Link Click.
Yeah, well, you know me. I'm a big anime fight guy. I've definitely never said that fights are the most boring part of anime on our podcast before.
Never.
Not once. And I've definitely I don't know. I don't get fights. I picked the Vivi fight that one year.
Great fight.
It was. I bet it came in last in the community vote.
I think it got runner up.
Oh, fuck yeah. Okay, I'll take that. So I don't know anything about this One Piece fight. Other than that, for me personally, the Fern and Stark fight is the best one. I think the cutting back and forth from that in that fight is really good. There were a lot of really cool moments. They did a great job of animating those manga panels because the fights felt different in the manga and the anime, and I think they both highlighted interesting things about that fight, but using the medium like well there. And so it was interesting to watch a fight that I was familiar with but get like this different perspective from it, this more dynamic perspective that was less reliant on these like really sick frames that the manga had. Now, obviously, the JJK fight is absolutely fire, and the Yor fight, is this the one with the fireworks in the background that I keep
Yes.
seeing?
Yep.
Okay, so that's insane too. Gosh, this is tough. For the community, I'm going to go with Chozo versus Yuji, JJK. For Pete, I'm going to pick Fern and Stark versus Lene and Lunger, but I wouldn't be surprised if Pete picked the Yakuza family fight. I know he loves that.
The
It has
Yakuza family, huh?
Yuzuki
family.
I don't watch
They're
this
so
shit.
far away from the Yakuza.
The Yakuza family.
The Yakuza family.
The Yakuza family, the Yuzuki family, from what I have seen from that show, that is just like a very Pete sort of vibe. It's got like this very like adolescent-y, raw emotion, a stupidly good Saga for what it is.
Yep.
So I'm not going to be surprised if Pete picked that, but I can't in good conscience do that when the Fern and Stark fight exists, how it does. So, as far as what I think is missing from this, I think G-Witch had a lot of great fights this year, and I probably would have put one of them in there, So maybe just like Soletta versus Eri, even though that is more of like a talking to. I don't know. But like, one person was fighting and one person was not fighting, but I thought it was animated freaking phenomenal.
We are very loose on what best fight means, because I believe 2 years ago I had a high Q match in my best fight. So
okay, well maybe I should have fought for that more than but I didn't. So, that's that. But yeah, these are all good picks, and I'm assuming the One Piece fight is good, but I don't know anything about it.
Okay.
So
it's the one where the thing came out from Luffy, right? The new thing, the thing that manga readers have been waiting forever for.
He looks like
Pure
a cartoon
Five.
character.
The red punch or something. I forget what it is, but yeah, that was a pretty big deal. So I wouldn't be surprised if that won community vote. However, I also think that just the fact that Freiren exists, or Freerin, whatever, exists, makes it kind of hard to not pick it in whatever category it's in, especially for a community vote. So I'm gonna go with Freerin there. Miles is so right about why this Yuzuki family is in this category at all.
have you seen the fight? Because it is stupidly good. It is animated amazing. It is just two children fighting, but it is like a super top budget, like a lot of passion put in there. Like, it's crazy.
It's like Kobayashi,
it really is.
Before, where it's just like randomly they have the
best fight of the year.
Fight.
Yeah.
Damn. I've almost been talked into picking that, but no, I'm going to go with also Freiren for Pete. As for me, I would probably, out of this list, I really enjoyed the Spy Family fight. I thought it was really, really cool.
Beautiful from what I've seen. So
yeah, it's so cool. Like, they do the setup with the fireworks and everything as well. Yor gets involved, or not Yor, sorry, Anya gets involved indirectly. Like, it's so, like, it's just Spy Family doing the thing where that I love in shows like Zombieland and Konosuba, where everything that happens on screen has a meaning or has a purpose and is thought out. It's mapped out ahead of time. It's great. I adored it. One fight too from Kenshin. They actually kind of upped the fight between Haijo Satame, which is the police swordsman, former Wolf or Shinsengumi member. He and Kenshin go at it near the end of the show, and it is stunningly gorgeous, like how well they animate just two expert swordsmen going at it. It's pretty sick. Highly recommend you guys check that out. Outside of that, though, yeah, again, Freiren sweep, I think, again, for this category is a safe bet.
Right on. Let's get to our winners. With 20.2% of the vote, our community runner-up went to Fern Stark versus Line and Lunger from Freerin. And I went with my runner-up, Minato versus Yuta from the Yuzuki family's Four Sons. My biggest thing with fights is the impact, or like why they're fighting. I don't want people just to fight because it's a shonen or whatever. Give me a reason why you two are showing this emotion. And in Yuzuki family, context of the fight, the girl is like really mad at her mom and makes her mom upset. And then the guy character lost his parents and is trying to like talk to her, like why you should like appreciate your mom and stuff like that. And it just gets heated. And the fact that they're just dumb, like 7-year-old kids and like they don't know how to fight. They're just swinging. They're swinging haymakers and they're They're throwing kicks that miss from like 3 feet. Like that's what adolescence is. And it just represented that whole emotion when you're a dumb 7-year-old and you fight for no reason. And I absolutely loved it. I fell in love with that fight. I fell in love with that story. Let's get to our winner with 23.6% of the vote. Our winner went to Chozo and Yuji from Jujutsu Kaisen. I'm a little upset. This was like my 4th favorite fight from Jujutsu Kaisen, but I also think it was so jam-packed. The choreography was in this fight was so good, but hot take, I thought the choreography in the Link Click fight was way better than the Jujutsu Kaisen. I just don't think enough people watched Link Click enough to understand or to like get this fight, but if you do like choreography, I definitely check out Link Click season 2. But my winner went with Ferdinand Stark and versus Line and Lunger. That fight was just phenomenal. The cinematography of that fight was just next level shit. I also think it really showcased Fern as a mage in this fight more than Stark as a warrior. I think Stark with the fight with the dragon really showcased who he was as a warrior. This really showcased Fern as a mage and just like her power, able to defeat these demons. And it showcased everything that I love about Frieren, like the magic system, the threats, and just everything that went into it. It was just an absolutely phenomenal fight. One of the best of the year. One of the best in the last like 5 years for me. It's so good. Frieren can't miss.
I'm just gonna say, I think it showcases Stark really well.
It does for sure.
There's like, there's that whole bit about how who he's fighting, can like copy the techniques and stuff, but there's not like that warrior spirit behind what she does, and he has that, right? So he's willing to make a suboptimal move, tank that hit in order to win, and I just think that really shows who he is.
100%, yeah.
So I do agree that Fern gets more showcase there, but I just wanted to talk my boy up,
No, it's such like, when you play the role of a tank, say in like RPG sense, like taking a lot of damage is part of it. Rarely do we see somebody like take the full end of it to like set it up, and I just really liked how Stark set up that fight. But Fern stole the show. That's my girl right there. But it's not to say like anything else. Like I understand like the importance of Gear 5 for like One Piece. We're not One Piece watchers. The Yor fight was insane. Like it was so good. But like they're all really, really good fights. So it's hard to pick one. I just had to go with one that just blew me away, and it was the Frieren fight. It was wonderful. Let's move on to another category. We have our best suspense or mystery. Our nominations are Link Click, Undead Murder Farce, Pluto, The Apothecary Diaries, Bungo Stray Dogs, and Miggy and Dolly.
Yeah, so I like to call this the Apothecary Diary Awards. Except for Pete, because Pete's a hater.
I really like Apothecary Diaries. Just for
you have it an 8,
it's
right?
like an 8.5.
Yeah,
Hitler would do.
Yeah, sounds like what Hitler would do.
Hitler would give it an 8. I have it as an 8.5.
Oh, interesting. Well, I'll see what it is in Mal at the end.
I'm gonna change it right now. You can't get me.
For me, this is very clearly Apothecary Diaries because I love Apothecary Diaries so much. These other shows are very good, though. For Pete, I think Community, Apothecary Diaries. For Pete, Pluto. I know Pete has said so many good things about Pluto. Once my life is a little less insane, I plan on watching Pluto. I'm very excited about it. But I have been too sick to watch something that heavy lately. So, not on my list currently, but as soon as there's some amount of normalcy in my life, I'm going to do that. I want to shout out Miggy and Dolly a little bit because I've heard, people in the Discord really like that. And I've heard that it sort of got off to like maybe a little bit of a rough start, but that it ends like really well and everything comes together from like a good amount. So shout out to that. Undead Girl. Again, all of these shows are great. Well, besides maybe Bungo Stray Dogs, I don't know.
People really like season 4 and 5.
Season 1 of that show was pretty rough for us if you listen to our episode, but maybe it gets better. But everything else, is, I think, super deserving of being here, and I'm sure Bungo Stray Dogs is as well. I just don't know anything about that. As far as things that are missing from here, would you think something like My Happy Marriage would be suspensey and mystery enough? Or, like, do you think it just, like, nah?
Maybe. I think the big one is Heavenly Delusion. But
that's true.
It was kind of like I wanted to get more representation from other shows, and
Yeah, this is where I would have put Heavenly Delusion, but I don't have a problem with it not being included if it was included in the action adventure,
Yep.
right? Like I think that makes perfect sense. Yeah, so my pick is Apothecary Diaries, my pick for the community is Apothecary Diaries, and my pick for Pete is Pluto.
Okay.
Well, he stole my thunder. I was about to say Pete. I'm locking this in for Pluto immediately, like without a doubt. I think, especially with recency, absolutely adored Pluto. I look forward to whenever Watch Club finally gets back around to it, watching Link Click season 2, because that cliffhanger at the end of season 1 was kind of nuts.
You should
We
see
watched
season
it.
2 cliffhanger. It's just
I,
as, if not more, than season 1.
fuck. Well, I'm not gonna watch it until season 3 is out. Then, yeah. No, I don't know. I think Pluto again. It just feels like it's a little too niche to win a community vote, or not mainstreamy enough to win a community vote. God, people love Bungo Stray Dogs, but that feels like a bait pick, doesn't it?
I think just being like season 4 or 5, was it 5?
4 and
Yeah.
5.
4 and 5,
Yeah,
like you had to have people who have watched 1, 2, and 3, and I think that just makes it harder than something
it does.
that's season 1 or whatever. And you're right about Pluto. I mean, it has like the really long episodes. It all dropped on Netflix at the end of the year. Like it has stuff going against it from that perspective.
Well, yeah, just like looking at it from like a popularity standpoint. What was it like? I didn't even see it on the list, like of top 10 shows. I guess it's probably
It's
'cause
pretty popular.
it's listed as an O&A, I'm guessing, so
Yep,
that's
it is
probably
an
why it's
all-day.
not. So, I don't know, 125,000 people, that's that's like 10th in, or 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th in popularity, and for just fall. So,
True.
I don't know, I'm metagaming here a little bit too much probably, but, I think our community really liked Apothecary Diaries a lot. I know Miles did. You hated
I
it.
won't shut up about it.
Yeah.
So
You won't shut up about Mau Mau, I know, which, we've already talked at nausea about her today. So, but I do think Apothecary Diaries would probably win this one. Although I wouldn't be surprised if it was Link Click as well, because people love Link Click. So yeah, those are my answers.
All right. We had a tie for runner up for the community at 19.1% was a tie between Pluto and Link Click.
okay.
My runner up was Link Click. I thought how it just everything came together at the end of season 2. If you've seen season 1, it's like that, but I don't want to give any spoilers if you guys haven't seen it, but it's a lot.
Please don't.
It's a lot, but so good. Just an incredible series Link Click is. And season 2, a little convoluted in the middle, but by the end of it, it wrapped everything up. And I think is definitely deserving of my runner up. The winner with 34.8% of the vote went to Apothecary Diaries. The Mau Mau sweep is real. And you guys hit on the head. My winner was Pluto. I fucking love Pluto. It's so good. The mystery behind sort of anti-AI, anti-robot, and figuring out the mystery between what's happening with Pluto inside of Pluto was just, chef's kiss. It was an immaculate series and can't praise it enough. So Pluto gets my dub. Gentlemen, any other final thoughts on this category before we move on to the next one?
Right show won. That's all I'll say.
Yes, Pluto did win.
No, the real award.
Oh, the community vote?
Yeah.
Sure. Let's go with that. All right. Moving on to Best Drama. Our nominations are Vinland Saga, Oshinoko, My Happy Marriage, Link Click, Uku, and G-Witch.
I would also put Apothecary Diaries best drama. I feel like there's a lot of good drama in that show, but I do understand your desire to not have it win every category.
Yeah.
I get it. Not that it would have won this one.
No, it would not have. Definitely not.
There's a lot of good shows here. For the community, this is going to be between Vinland and Oshi. I'll have to think on that. For Pete, it's going to be between, I think, Vinland and Oku, which I know Pete loved disproportionately, which is good. For me, it's between G-Witch and G-Witch. So it's a pretty tough decision there for me to make. I loved pretty much all of these shows. I think, probably the weakest one here is My Happy Marriage, but I loved My Happy Marriage. I thought it was a great show, and I'm happy that it's here, you know, and this on this nomination. Oshi is great. I guess I think the weakest show here is Oku. I forgot it was there already, even though I mentioned it.
You did.
But I did like all of these shows. For the community, I am going to go. Oh my god, this is tough. I'm going to go Vinland Saga. People said so many good things about it. I know that it hit people great. I think that Oshinoko suffers a little bit from being so impactful at the beginning and then sort of delving into, while an insanely good, more normal show,
For sure.
towards the end. There are definitely banger moments within that, right? We talked about the Akane scene and everything. And then the other Akane scenes. And, Akane really does sort of just steal the show. But towards
Sure.
the end, we're focusing on like Kana more, and no one really cares about that.
I'll try and edit this.
So, so that's my thought there. So for community, I'm going to go Vinland. For Pete, you know what? We're doing the Vinland sweep. I was thinking maybe Uku, maybe like, surprise Pete swerve, but we're just doing the Vinland sweep. That's what we're going to do.
Right on.
Yeah, I think Uku's is runner up because he wants to give it a shout out during his little spiel, but he didn't want to give it the full one. I also agree he likes it disproportionately to the shows. G-Witch though, man, people love G-Witch, and for a category like drama, which I also agree with Miles, this is easily probably the most stacked category that we have from the shows category, at least. Like I could see any of these being anyone's favorite drama of the year very easily. But Finland, everyone, again, Farming Simulator Tuesdays or whatever it was, I think Finland probably wins community and Pete's nomination, given the people that we have in our community. And also it being very popular. I'm gonna go with Finland sweep as well.
Right on. Okay, let's get to our runner-up with 23.6% of the vote. The community runner-up went to Vinland Saga.
Ooh, okay.
My runner-up, I'm not giving it because of its flowers, or it should whatever. It should be here because it's that fucking good. It's Uku. I love Uku. That show is gas. Absolutely deserves to be here, and it's definitely my runner-up. Winner with 28.1% of the vote went to Oshinoko.
Okay.
And my winner was Vinland Saga, of course. There was just drama at it. This is the magnum opus of drama for me. It was next level shit. It was so good. I loved everything about Vinland Saga season 2. It's so good. It's hard to put into words, but from Thorfinn's development to his companion, their development, and everything that happens at the farm it's just drama at its best. It's chef's kiss, baby. Mwah. Any final thoughts on drama before we move to the next one?
No, I'm happy with what's there. This isn't even me just being me. I legitimately think Apothecary Diaries probably deserves a spot in there. I know you want to diversify things a bit, but I think the drama element of that is really good. With like the different courts and how they interact.
Yep, I agree.
So just want to give a shout out to that. And Yuri is my job.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you Apothecary, but you ain't getting that one, bro. All right, let's move on to the best category actually it's the second best category. Best Slice of Life. Your nominations are The Yuzuki Family's 4 Sons, My New Boss is Goofy, The Masterful Cat is Depressed Again Today, Otaku Elf, Skippin' Loafer, and Insomniacs After School.
The boss really wasn't that goofy.
He was very goofy.
That's not what I got from it. I know. I don't think that is
cramp medicine for girls on their period in like the first 5 minutes because he didn't know the difference. That's goofy.
It would work though if you look what's in my doll, right? Like it's
besides the point, you chemist.
Okay. So I was realizing like when I was talking about Insomniacs After School, or I was getting like emotional. Like I almost teared up, which is like a really big deal for me because I don't really do that. Like the only anime that's ever made me cry is Yuri on Ice because JJ is just such an emotional character. Other way, on camera. There you go. Wait, Jay. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, one of those.
Audio listeners are like
what? So for me, this is like very clearly Insomniacs After School. It really just like hits so many aspects of my life that it I don't know, it just made a very large impact for me. However, I'm not going to pick that for Pete or the community. I think this is a Skip and Loafer sweep. I think Skip and Loafer is an amazing show. I think Pete is very adamant that it is a slice of life and not a romance.
It's
Though
not a romance. It
I
is
think
not a
that
romance.
I
since
think Cap.
most of the subplots have to do with romance in some form, but that's okay because so does life, right? There's a lot of romance in life, and I think it definitely fits the slice of life category. And I think that the community and Pete have picked it for their show. I didn't like a lot of these shows, but I'm not a slice of life guy. I thought My New Boss's Goofy was bad. I thought Otaku Elf was not great.
She builds
You know.
Gunplas though.
Yeah, that's true, and so do I. Like lots of them. So you know what? Maybe it is. You know?
Actually, it's peak.
But yeah, those are my thoughts on Slice of Life. But for me, it's like a resounding win for Insomniacs, which I expect to be the runner-up, at least for the community, potentially for Pete. But Pete, you're weird when it comes to these Slice of Life shows because you like them all,
I do.
like every single one.
I really do.
Yeah, I know. So it can really be anything.
Yeah, I think it's Skip and Loafer sweep as well. I hate to keep matching up with Miles, but yeah, for the sake of competition. But I don't see anyone not picking that. I agree. Feels like I feel like Skip and Loafer could have been in best drama as well. It's
Yeah, true.
drama heavy. Like that's the whole point of like half of the plots that happen, and then
They
the other
put
half,
on a play, right?
yeah.
What is more drama than drama itself?
Oh,
or working with a pop star
Yeah.
or whatever, being dramatic and causing a scene. Like I don't know that it is slice of life, but that cat I don't know the cat yeah like Miles said too, like that category isn't our cups of tea. I would have picked Skip and Loafer for this very easily. I think you have like with anything else thrown into this category, but so yeah, let's go with the Skip and Loafer sweep.
Skip and Loafer sweep it is. All right, let's get to our winners. With 27% of the vote, our runner-up is Insomniacs After School. My runner-up went to Skip and Loafer. Absolutely
Ooh.
adored Skip and Loafer. Mitsumi was just an absolute ball of delight. I loved her. I loved her journey from countryside to citywide Tokyo. Just an absolute delight with her. The winner with 33.7% of the vote is Skip and Loafer. And my winner, if you listen to the review from last one, is the Yuzuki family's Four Sons. Yeah. Absolutely, probably in my top 5 slice of life of all time. How they just encapsulated brotherhood. I loved it as somebody who has an older and a younger brother. I just fell in love with the story. I could relate to it so much. And just sort of how everything came together in the story with the struggles they have of losing their parents and sort of figuring it out like on the fly as a family was just incredible. I loved it. Miles, look like you had something to say.
Was Do It Yourself this year?
That was last year.
Okay, wow, what is time?
Oh man, Jobco would have been on Best Girl if it was this year.
Okay,
was
it fall last year?
Yeah, I think it was like late last year.
Okay, I just must be mixing it up with winter then.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, that was last year. Yeah, so I mean, all of these shows I have above an 8 or higher. It was a great year for slice of life. Really hard to pick just one, but Yuzuki family just really hit me where it normally doesn't. Usually I'm there for the sit down and have a good time, and I did with this, but it hit a lot harder with the brother aspect of the show. So tip of the hat to Yuzuki family. Any final thoughts on slice of life before we move into the best category? All right. Here we go. Best romance. Your nominations are The Danger Is in My Heart, My Happy Marriage, Insomniacs After School, My Love Story with Yamada, Tomo-chan Is a Girl, and The Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten.
This is a tough one, except for the community in which Dangers in My Heart will win. For me, this is also Insomniacs After School. I love that. But I want to give a shout out to Loving Yamada, which I had fun watch parties with Trent and Galaxy with every week, as well as My Happy Marriage, which I think is great. But I like it not only for the romance, I think there's a lot of like the fantasy elements and stuff like really inspired to me. As far as like pure romancy stuff goes, Insomniacs, I've already just talked a lot about how much it meant to me. So that's a big one. I think the community is picking Dangers of My Heart. For Pete, this is tough. It's tough because this could almost be anything besides the Angel Next Door Spoils Me run, which I feel like is here so that we could have a sixth show.
A lot of people really like that show.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, it has over an 8 on Mal.
That's crazy.
You should watch it. It's not bad.
I'm not.
Okay, that's fair.
It's tough because like I know how much you like Insomniacs, but I also know you read the manga, and I don't know how much that's going to like feed into it, and how capable you are of separating, that, because I'm terrible at that, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like I'll love a manga like 100 chapters after what happens, and I'll be like, yeah, anime out 10 because I know what's happening later, and it's great. But I think you're a little bit better than that at me. For that reason, I'm going to say, Pete, you're going to give Best Romance to My Happy Marriage. I know that you like both the leads there, right? Like Kyoko won your Best Boy runner-up. And, I wouldn't be surprised if this was like, I know you like Tomo-chan a lot. I know you love Insomniacs. You like Dangers of My Heart. We did Watch Club on that. I do think that like with everything, with all the other heavy hitters and stuff here, that maybe like the first several episodes of that maybe could weaken it a little bit for you. That's my thought there. So I'm going to go My Happy Marriage for Pete, but I'm not super confident.
And what was your community winner?
Dangers of My Heart.
Okay.
I think for community though, people loved Insomniacs a lot too. So I think that's gonna be my community pick, just to honestly to keep things different for Miles as well. Try and mix some different answers in here. I personally was underwhelmed, I guess, by romance this year. I didn't particularly get attached to any of the shows, really. Like, I started Dangers of My Heart before I got really busy before our watch club. My Happy Marriage, I heard good things about. Wasn't 100% sold on it though.
Historical
Yamada,
romance, dude. Come on, that's like right
I
up
know,
your alley.
I know, but like people weren't so excited about it that I was like, oh, this is great. This could be great. Like that was
I
be
bought
worth
the
my time.
manga.
Fair enough. I guess people outside of Pete, I should say.
Okay, that's fair.
Sorry.
That's you.
That's Yuri Kumabear. Yeah,
Yeah,
I loved that show. I'm so glad we watched it.
Why wasn't this nominated for everything?
Oh,
yeah. Wonder why. Yeah. And I do remember Tomo-chan was really popular. I feel like again, if Tomo-chan came out later in the year, it might have had a chance with the community. Man, I found Angel Next Door annoying and bad and repulsive.
That might be what I'm like basing my opinion off it, because I remember you just being like, one, excited about it, and then watching it and being like, nah, man.
Actually, nah.
Just it was like, oh, it sounds cute, and then it's like, oh, it's just like a pseudo power fantasy, or self-insert. Like to me, it felt like that. At least maybe it gets better by the end. I don't know. I found it to be a little too on the nose. It's like Shinzo Abe, just have children, but the show
Have sex. See you, space
have
cowboy.
Sex. Yeah, exactly. Like it was that meme, but in a show, it felt like to me. So I don't know. I was underwhelmed. I guess compared to years in the past, especially last couple of years, we've been very spoiled with Origairu. I loved. I'm brain farting, but we've had like every other year.
Had some really
lately.
good shows.
Yeah, no, I'm brain farting, but I've liked at least a couple of them. And this year, I was very I was just indifferent. I didn't think they were great or bad, all bad. I didn't think they were all Angels Next Door, but I thought that they were very like okay,
No horror be a pieces, Pete. What was the thought process there? Just because it was like interludes?
Yeah, it really was. I think it was way more fun, like in terms of comedy, than it was romance.
Yeah,
like
okay.
it didn't really set up the romance because there are a couple in pieces. So
yeah, I agree. I don't know.
Yeah,
I thought
they didn't really like go on dates and stuff like we saw in like the first Horimiya.
What about Our Dating Story, Pete? Why was that not? Kidding.
You know why?
I liked that show.
I know you did.
That
That's why
good.
it's not here.
That's it's not here because I liked it.
You have a poor
specifically.
judgment of romance shows.
I think I gave it a 7.
2
That's a
points too
6
high.
point. 6.75.
Did you just say 6 points too high?
2 points too
Nope.
high.
Oh, okay. That's more realistic. That's fair enough.
But yeah, I'm gonna go with Pete with Insomniacs.
And what was your
Okay,
community?
you just picked Insomniacs for that. You're doing the Insomniacs.
Oh
sweep?
wait, no, sorry, pardon me. I had that backwards. No, Insomniacs for the community. Thank you. That is what I was going
Okay.
to say. And I actually do think I agree with you. The My Happy Marriage guess, because he just showed us the manga too. I do think he really liked it a lot. I
He
don't know.
buys the manga for everything he watches.
What?
Yeah.
What makes you think that?
The
What?
giant pile of manga
What?
you have.
The hundreds of volumes of manga behind me? What gave that
You'll be
away?
like, yeah, I watched the show 5 out of 10. Anyways, here's every volume of the manga.
Oh, I have some of those.
In Japanese, I can't
Yeah.
read it.
Yo, should I pull up my Reborn as a polar bear manga? It's right here. Okay,
He fucks the polar bear.
let's get to our winners. With 18% of the vote, we had a tie between
For
Tomo
second- or for runner-up.
for runner-up. Tomo-chan's
For the-
Girl and My Happy Marriage tied.
Okay.
For the
For
community
the
runner-up.
Silver Griffith Award.
The Silver Griffith Award. Yes. My runner-up was My Happy Marriage. Loved it. I thought just
Mm.
the dynamic between the two main leads just sold it for me. It was wonderful. Our winners, though, with 22.5% of the vote, went to Insomniacs After School. My winner was also Insomniacs After School. I read that
Okay.
entire manga in 2 days. I was hooked. Very rarely do I find a romance anime where I find the two main leads to actually be soulmates. These two are absolutely soulmates. They're one of the best couples I've ever seen in anime history. I love them to the death. If you watch the anime and you love it, read the manga. Ganta is a fucking Rizzlord. It's insane. I can't stress how much this nerdy dude rizzes out in the manga. He's incredible. Oh my god, I love Insomniacs After School.
I'm so happy that it won.
Oh, it's legit. I mean, if it got like a second season and finished the story, it would probably be like a top 3 romance all time for me. It's my top romance manga of all time. It's incredible. I love Insomniacs After School. Perfect. So good. That's my winner. Gentlemen, any thoughts on romance before we move on to our next one? All right, let's do it. Best fantasy. Your nominations are The Sacrificial Princess and the King of Beast, Frieren, Jobless Reincarnation, The Eminence in Shadow, Handyman in Another World, and Campfire Cooking in Another World. Gentlemen, your thoughts?
So one, I guess I would have liked to see Hell's Paradise here. I think it has enough fantasy elements to make an appearance here. You know, I guess maybe more than like Handyman in Another World or something that
That show's great.
I know you think that.
Do you not like D&D? It's a D&D anime. That's what it is.
You know what else is a D&D anime? Frieren. You know what's going to win all things here? Frieren.
Well, what's going to win second place?
What's going to win second place? That's a good question. For the community second place, I think there's a couple of options. There's Jobless or The Eminence in Shadow. For Pete, Sacrificial Princess is going to come in second place. And I'm going to say Jobless takes the community second, but people really liked Eminence in Shadow.
They did.
They did. Like, I think season 1 has like the highest first season rating for an isekai
Which
ever.
is crazy. It's so
Which
mid.
is
It's
crazy.
so mid.
I don't know. I actually enjoy it. I think it's fine, but like, I don't even like ReZero, but like, anyways, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the Eminence Shadow. I think it's fine. I like it when he says, I am atomic.
It's more impactful than Goku's Kamehameha, according to Twitter users.
I agree with that.
Okay, fuck it. Yeah, send your hate mail to Miles, not me.
Fuck it.
Yeah, jeez.
Now, is it more impactful than Gohan's Kamehameha against Cell? I don't think so. But Goku's, yes. Yeah, so I mean, I'm saying Frieren sweep here. And then my second place is going to be Jobless for the community. But maybe our community will make me happy. And then, Pat, I'm just putting Frieren in for both of your guesses as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's so far.
And then Pete's runner-up, I'm going to say, is Sacrificial Princess.
Okay.
I think Pete's gonna put Handyman as his runner-up because it's so unique and different.
I think he might have changed it right now because I shit talked it.
I did write down on a notebook, so it's in ink.
And you can't scribble that out.
Well, I don't have a pen on me, so.
Oh yeah, I guess
I guess I
also
could write it in blood.
Yeah, I forgot to say, my winner for this is Frieren because it's amazing. It's so good. Every aspect of the show is phenomenal. As we have said, my runner-up would be The Eminence Shadow. It's like a guilty pleasure for me. Like I don't think it should win, but I don't know. I'm not gonna knock anyone for voting for it, I guess.
Pat, did you have any words for fantasy?
This genre, man, so hit or miss, I think. But I do think for Frieren, from everything that I've heard about it, is just it's Frieren and everybody else by a long shot, I would say. At least especially on this list. Like I the only ones I like would Dr. Stone's again, do you not consider that fantasy, I guess, because it's real science? Is that
Yeah,
why
it'd probably be a
not, or-
fantasy.
Yeah.
What's the fantasy aspect of it?
The world turning into stone.
That's a sci-fi thing, though, right?
my
like that has
God.
like a.
My
Okay.
God.
We can
What is
argue about this
sci-fi
later.
fantasy? They did.
Sure.
That's not the
It's
same
close enough for
category.
me.
Yeah, you're right. Duh. What am I saying,
Whoa.
guys? Yeah, duh.
I-
I mean, it's not even another world. It's not even an isekai.
That's why this is fantasy and not
he makes Coca-Cola out of scratch. Yeah.
Oh,
you know.
why isn't Ender's Game on this list? Cool.
It's a book, you nerd.
I don't even like it.
Ender's Game is my favorite anime. Yeah.
You should check out the live action.
Someone said 86. Is that what someone said?
86 and Ender's Game are similar.
Yeah, they're pretty. Yeah, they have similar aspects.
A little bit.
You know what? Here's a hot take. 86 is better than Ender's Game.
I would agree, actually.
Nice.
Not by much, but I do think it is better than Ender's Game. Should we get to our winners?
Yes.
Our runner-up with 9% of the vote.
What percentage did Frieren get? I want to know before we.
You'll find out. Nah, we'll save it. 9% of the vote. Your runner-up went to campfire cooking in another world.
Sure, why not?
My runner-up was also campfire cooking in another world. That show was.
I also believe it.
That show was so fun. Sui Sweep obviously was a huge part of it.
Oh yeah, I should have thought of that.
But if you
what was your third place?
Handyman? Handyman's so
Damn it.
fun.
Okay.
Handyman is incredible.
I knew it. Give me a point, Miles. For
It's
that.
the fact that like one of their like he gets teleported along with some of his stuff, and then they go into a dungeon and a Roomba gets loose, and part of the mission is to find the Roomba. It's really fun. It's a really silly D&D. The winner with 69.7% of the vote was Frieren. Wow,
Nice.
shocking. Nobody. My winner also Frieren. Duh.
Unbelievable.
Duh. It's only one of the best anime ever made, and it's not even done. I don't even want to. We don't even have to talk too much about this. Frieren story. It's really good. Okay. Let's move on to our last category before Anime of the Year. We have Best Comedy. Your nominations are The 100 Girlfriends Who Really, Really Like You, Horimiya Pieces, My New Boss is Goofy, Spy Family, Mashal, and Buddy Daddy.
Somehow, the show that I found the funniest was Mashal, which I don't think is a good show. I didn't watch the new season of Spy Family. I think Spy Family might do that for me. I don't find Horimiya that funny. I find it more like, and relatable.
What are your thoughts on 100 Girlfriends, though?
I fucking hate that show. I hate it. I think it is so not funny. I despise everything about it. Anyways, I think it's going to sweep. It's currently ongoing for whatever godforsaken reason people like it. Just like the bit with the mom being one of the girlfriends. I hate it. I hate everything about it. And I hated having to see everyone talk about how fucking funny it was in the stupid Discord. Don't join our Discord. We have shit opinions.
Sick plug, Miles. Sick anti-plug, Miles.
Yeah, it's like the
Thanks, Miles.
anti-pat or whatever. It's like, don't join our Discord. We suck. But people think it's funny, and I'm not gonna lie, I can't even frame it in a way that I get it. I don't get it, but I'm not one to deny reality, and people talk about it enough. When we did our fucking Jesus Christ. You know what?
First
I'm going to change
impressions.
my Pete
Okay.
vote. I'm going to say it's My New Boss is Goofy. And this is just because I don't know. I can't do the 100 girlfriend sweep. I can't. It's gonna happen. I just can't do it.
Okay. You want a hug?
I would love one. Thank you.
You look like you're struggling.
I find the show. I hate it like with every fiber of my being.
I could tell.
But people do like it, and I am here to be a voice of the people, and I think the people have chosen it. And I think that you've probably chosen it too, Pete, but I'm going to do my new boss's Goofy.
Okay.
Because I need some solace in life. Pat, go ahead.
Was Buddy Daddy's that funny?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
If you like
Okay.
the Anya hijinks, Buddy Days has the Anya hijink.
That makes sense. I think the setup is a little different. Maybe that's why, to me, like I just don't remember seeing as many people talking about it, I guess, either as some of the other shows. That's why I was like, out of the rest of these all seem to be very popular. I thought Buddy Daddies was relatively.
Buddy Days was pretty popular.
Okay.
It definitely was riding the coattails of Spy Family.
Right. Yeah, I was gonna say, so I think Spy Family actually has a chance here in the community vote. So I'm gonna put my faith in the community and say that they pick Spy Family. That show had me laughing every single episode, multiple times. It's so funny and so clever. My pick. I hope it's the community's pick. He really does like 100.
He said it was a 9 in our first impressions episode.
I did say it was a. Did you see what I gave it though?
An 8.
Hitler.
No.
No.
Anti.
No, I'm kidding. I know, yeah. No,
I'm
he's
so-
Stalin. Yeah, wait.
I'm at the point of bargaining where him giving it an 8. I'm like, yeah, that's low. Let's go.
Yeah.
That's the stage of grief I'm at.
So bargaining was that third stage? Second?
Denial. I'm in denial.
You're in denial. Okay.
Yeah.
We're getting there. We're making progress, Miles. Good on you. Hey, I'll go 100 girlfriends for Pete. I do. No, I'm not. I'm gonna go Spy Family sweep. Like I appreciate Spy Family is. Did you give it a 10? You don't have to answer that. You can just tell
I
me
did
right
give
now.
it a 10.
Am I correct? Yeah, exactly. That's why I said Spy Family sweep. There we go.
My thought is that he thinks it's more comfy than funny, though. I mean, I don't know. It depends.
Guess
Like,
we'll find
Both.
out.
I think it's both. It's so
Okay.
both at all times for me. So
All right. Well, let's get to our winners. Our runner-up with 16.9% of the vote went to the 100 girlfriends who really like you.
Suck it. Suck it.
My runner-up was also 100 girlfriends. While I do find some parts very extra and unnecessary, I do think a lot of the writing is very witty and funny. The Pokemon bit in the school was absolutely hilarious. I fucking
You know
love
what had
that.
a Pokemon bit?
Pokemon.
Fucking Aharon.
Owl World.
I loved Aharon.
Yeah,
I give it a
Aharon
9.
Is like better 100.
I have Aharon ranked higher than 100 girlfriends, if that makes you feel
Good.
better.
It does.
Yeah. There was I do think that 100 girlfriends was, I think it deserves an 8. I think it's very funny. I do think there's some Miles points where he may blow it out of the water, but I agree with what he's saying. I just don't, it just doesn't affect me like the rage field inducing show it is to him. I think it's,
I don't
pretty
even
good.
get mad that often, but I just can't do it.
Hey, we all have our trigger word. Pat, it's Toradora. With you, it's 100 girlfriends.
What?
You say so? You talking lip, bro? Our winner with 29.2% of the vote went to Spy Family.
Woo!
My winner for Comedy of the Year was My New Boss is Goofy. I thought it was hilarious. I thought the show was super fun. Every episode was delightful. I gut laughed at least once every episode. I thought it was very witty and very fun. And the stuff with like the tsundere cat with Hakuto was a great addition to the comedy. Super fun show. Highly recommend My New Boss is Goofy.
For other comedies, I thought Our Dating Story was funny. I know that's a controversial
Yeah,
take.
I don't know.
I don't know. And I also thought it was well written and far as a teen romance goes, but that's me.
That's you.
And then I legitimately think that Apothecary Diaries is hilarious.
It's super funny. It's absolutely hilarious.
Just like
The
Mau
meme
Mau
faces.
reaction shots
Yeah,
I was
are,
gonna say
yeah.
The meme face are like Anya faces all over again. I think that they're pretty funny.
Yeah, I understand why it was not nominated for this, but like I think it might be the show that I've laughed at the most this year. So That's
I
worth
agree.
something, I guess.
It's really fun, especially when she like sees Saki and she's like, "Ooh, liquor! Ooh, I love
Yeah.
that." Super fun. But yeah, that's best comedy. Did you have your scores before we go into anime of the year?
It's a close one.
Okay.
Normally, I'm blowing Pat out by now. Unfortunately, that has not happened this year. I'm only up 2 points, so it's anyone's game.
I guess
So
I'll
it's
just have
it's
to
a
take his word for it because he was
a
keeping
a,
score and I
a
wasn't.
tight race. I am,
Normally,
and
it's you're blowing me out because I have to get. I sit here and I go, man, I'm so sick of giving the same answer as what Miles just said. So I start taking wild stabs
Maybe
and
next
guesses
year
and then fall
Pat goes
behind.
first.
Maybe we do that. Yeah, I don't know.
I'll take that because then I can get his ideas. I'm always like, oh, I have to go first and like give my tech away.
How about this? For anime of the year, Pat goes first.
Ooh,
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
okay.
Okay.
I just want to give a disclaimer. It's I dub it as the Darling and Effects rule, where for my personal anime of the year, it has to be finished for it to get my consideration. So Frieren is not a choice for me in my anime of the year. It will be next year, but this year it is not a choice. For the community, it's up for grabs. Any show that aired in 2023 is eligible for anime of the year. So Pat, take it away. Um, also give your personal anime of the year as well.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Gosh. All right, knowing what I know now, I would say that Frieren is almost certainly going to win Anime of the Year for the community. I feel like I feel pretty confident with how the rest of the voting's gone as well. I don't see how people could vote for it for best this, best that, and then not give it best anime as well because I don't know, to me it just seems that logical. For you, I think I'm gonna go with Vinland Saga for your Anime of the Year. I think again, God, the wheat posting was just unrelenting for the first half of the year. It was nonstop. It was constant. It was just every episode was the best episode ever of anime. I swear for the first half of the year. So anything other than this, and it's kind of just that you've been gaslighting me all year. So it's your fault no matter what in the end here.
I get it.
For me, I was stuck. I do believe I ended up voting Spy Family for my anime of the year in the moment. But the more I've sat on it, it's weird because I didn't have any tens this year. I only had I had a couple nines, which I believe were Spy Family, and the show I'm actually gonna give it to, which is Zom 100.
Ooh, nice.
Zom 100 blew me away. I love zombie shows. Like I love High School of the Dead, great show. I like zombie stories. Have grown up enjoying them for various reasons too. Like I think that there's something really cool about post-apocalyptic worlds showing that I loved like young adult novels too, like Hunger Games and Maze Runner as a kid too. Like, I love all those sorts of the world, the world is against you. What can you do? Or making the most out of a situation, Last of Us style too, like the real demons are the humans, or the real monsters are the humans, like that sort of narrative. I liked that this Zom 100, it did a little bit of that, but it wasn't the only focus. Which, by the way, random thought too. Why wasn't Shark Shark Zombie versus Akira and the team in best fight?
Why
Is
Ah,
wasn't
that
why wasn't Shark Zombie and Best Non-Human? That's what I want to
that
know.
also
ooh,
is a
that would be
great
a good
question.
one.
Yeah, in hindsight, like I was thinking that in the moment and I forgot to mention it. But yeah, so like that fight was sick when they figured out how to beat him. I don't know. I love the characters in Zom 100 so much. I thought their group dynamic was awesome as well. I think that's really important with a zombie story is you're surviving with a group of people. You'd have to get pretty comfortable with each other for it to work out and for you to be successful. And I think they did a great job establishing that. All of their skills and their decisions follow logic. They follow their characters and their personalities, I guess. I enjoyed that show so much. And that final arc talking a lot about wanting to pay your parents back for all that they've done for you, not knowing how much time you have. Are you making them proud? Are you doing right by them? I mean, maybe with the timing of my father's recent injury too, it made it even more impactful to me. But I could not. I was bawling my eyes out watching that final arc. It hit me in all the right places, and God, if that show wasn't delayed, imagine how much better it could have been. Like there with the production delays, I can't imagine how well it would have done with like I had coworkers watching it too that weren't anime people. I had my friends that watch like 3 shows a year watching it. Like everyone was talking about it, and then it lost all that momentum from being delayed, which is really too bad because I do think it could have made a pretty serious run for anime of the year with a lot of people. But yeah, so that was my anime of the year, and I already gave my 2 guesses, I think. So
Yep.
You did. You
Well
did.
said.
Community Frieren, Pete, Vinland. So I'm definitely going Pete, Vinland. Community, I'm stuck between Frieren and Vinland. I mean, I think that's what it's going to come down to. You might have talked me into Frieren, just with the amount of stuff it won. Except for I think that Vinland won
it won a lot
everything
too.
it
It
was
won
up for as well, right?
pretty
So like
much,
I think
yeah.
they both basically just won everything that they were up for. I'm gonna go Frieren because of the recency bias, but I think that Vinland could do it, right? Like I think that I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. For me personally, I guess there's like 2 I want to shout out. G-Witch season 2 is what I guess I would vote for, right? Mostly because that entire show, including season 1, which did not air this year, but like that whole thing is super important to me. I have insane amount of merch. Here's a very small sample of it. But I have almost every Gunpla from the series. I have like multiple Mio and Soletta things. I have the novelization of it. There's a bunch of stuff there. But as far as like things that are encapsulated just for this year, Insomniacs After School, I have to give another shout out to. I'm going to save my Apothecary Diaries praise for next year. The same way that Pete sort of does that thing. So, that's sort of my thoughts on anime of the year. It's tough for me to decide because those shows were both very special to me in different ways. I think if it was just about what aired this year, it would be Insomniacs. But as I've mentioned before, I'm sort of bad at delineating for that, so I'm going to give it to G-Witch.
Okay.
And that's it. I mean, there's a lot of great options. Pete, before you tell us, what are some shows that got some votes that surprised you? I want to know.
Well, somebody voted for Sweet Reincarnation, which as a Discord was considered maybe the worst anime of this year. Nobody liked that one. Some like runner-ups that got votes. Spy Family got a good chunk. Apothecaries got a good chunk. G-Witch got a good chunk. Those were sort of some that's outside of that, they're pretty typical of what you would expect, I feel like. So
Okay.
I think out of our votes, we had 37 unique anime. So
Ooh, interesting.
yeah,
Okay.
it was a handful. Some people not understanding the sometimes the show that they voted for did not come out in 2023. So
Okay, what I want to know though, like what came out and like did someone give it to like Neon Genesis Evangelion?
I don't know. Someone
Like-
like my mom voted and she voted for like The Simpsons and stuff like that. So
that came out in 2023 though.
it did, but unfortunately did not qualify. So I have to go back and
Super
look.
Mario Brothers
Super
2.
Mario Brothers 2 once again gets
Great
anime of the
reference.
year.
Oh my god.
Well, because I was thinking, because I was having a hard time with anime of the year, and so I was thinking about just giving it to Revolutionary Girl Utena because I watched that this year and I loved it. So
I was also thinking about like, oh, what Watch Club show would I do?
Yeah, I think somebody voted like Chainsaw Man, which I guess if you look at like the Crunchyroll Awards, since that's nominated for Anime of the Year,
I guess that could confuse someone,
I
right?
get it.
Like, that makes sense.
So stuff like that. Also shout out
Did
to my mom.
Bocchi get a vote?
Bocchi did not get a vote. I
Shame.
wanted to meme on it, but it did not get a vote. But
Okay.
let's get to our winners. We had a tie for runner-up with
That's crazy.
8.4% of the votes went to Vinland Saga and Oshinoko, both receiving the same amount of votes.
Wow, Fryer really crushed, huh?
My
100.
runner-up,
Wow.
I loved everything about this show. The male voice actor was my favorite male voice actor of the year. One of the best OSTs, one of the best OPs, one of the best EDs, one of the best stories I've seen in anime. It was
Otaku Elf.
It was one of the best sequels that I've ever seen in a show, but it did not. Something surpassed it. My runner-up was Vinland Saga season 2.
What?
Yep.
I'm surprised.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. The community winner with 24% of the vote went to Frieren. No surprise.
Okay.
I think
That's
it's well
crazy.
deserved. Okay, time to bust out my knuckles.
Oku.
My anime of the
Full Metal
year
Alchemist.
was a show that I actually put off watching for a very long time, but
Okay,
the
Pluto.
messages and the themes and everything that revolved around Pluto just resonated with me. I think the show is a fucking masterpiece.
I should have known this. I'm stupid.
It is so
Nice.
good. I love the dynamic, whether you agree with like what AI is doing or what AI is trying to do and the people who use it. I think that conversation is needed, and Pluto addresses that so well, along with like real life issues going on with like Israel and Palestine. That happens in Pluto. Like that same scenario is happening in Pluto, and makes you really get a perspective on how we view war and how we view technology and everything about Pluto. It was just so timely with what's going on. I resonated with it so much. I think the idea of people using robots or AI for different means is also one thing that really resonated with me with Pluto. This isn't really a spoiler, but in the main character of Pluto is Adam, who is Astro Boy, and you find out the whole reason why Astro Boy was invented in Pluto. So he was invented because a dad lost his son in a car accident. And so he's trying to use AI to recreate his son. And I just think like ideas like that are so fascinating, and how it's implemented with human emotions just was some next level like story writing for me. I think Pluto is an absolute masterpiece, and it's 100% my anime of the year. It's just barely missing my top 10, but it's like my number 11 or 12 anime of all time. I think Pluto is absolutely genius. Absolutely genius. My anime of the year. Woo! I've been holding on to that for months. I'm so happy I could get that out. Ooh, I've been trying to. Ooh, oh, that felt real
Did
good.
Pete say something? His mic was muted.
Oh, you
Yeah,
mother.
I know.
Ugh.
I gotta say, in retrospect, you didn't do a great job of hiding
No.
it. I should have known that.
Anime. I talked.
Yeah.
I have literally said there's no chance anything beats Vinland Saga in Discord
Yeah.
multiple
Yeah.
times.
You've said that, but then you also like you should go see what you
Jizzed
said about
over-
Pluto.
You
I'll go-
jizzed
I'll
over
go check.
Pluto for the past 2
Yeah.
months. It has been nonstop. Pluto.
Yeah, I'm gonna say like your misdirect worked. Like we both fell for it, right? But like in retrospect, I was like, oh shit, I fell for it.
Gotcha.
Like,
Gotcha. I think it's just a show that if you like talking about anime and like the messages and themes that it presents, it's one of my favorite stories to ever do that. And I would recommend it to like anybody out there who really wants to get into like deep conversational stuff about what the story is presenting, because it's so timely. It's crazy that this story was written in like 1991, and everything that's happening in that story right now is happening right now in real life. And it's just, it hit me so hard. The characters are so good. You care about these AI robots so much, and like it brings up like that other question of like, are they real? Should we give AI rights? Stuff like that. It's so cool. Oh, it's such a great story. I loved Pluto. Woo! But yeah, man, I'll probably rant about it more once the episode comes out, but in chat. But that was just an absolute delight. I loved Pluto. Oh, that was so good. Gentlemen, we've made it to the end. Any final words, thoughts, messages, themes, best boys you want to talk about before we leave?
yeah, shout out to everyone who knows the real anime of the year. Yuri is my job. I don't know. This is a great year of anime. I think this upcoming year is excited, so I'm excited to do this with y'all again in a year. I think everything that won made perfect sense. It was good. Want to give a huge shout out to 100 Girlfriends for not winning anything. That's it. Maybe it felt like the Frieren Awards, but honestly, Frieren deserves it.
I also hate that, but it's like, how often do we get a generational anime currently airing?
Yeah.
And it's just like, we're witnessing it in real time. It deserves everything. Pat, yeah, any final words?
Yeah, just couple shout outs to some movies that aired in
Oh, for sure.
2023 for us. I guess technically, because I just went back and double checked and I saw that they didn't technically count. But to every you I've ever loved, and to me who loved you, that pairing movie what an experience that was, watching one and then the other. They're basically inverses of each other, and it's all about time and parallel worlds and how they intersect, and you bounce between them without knowing. And it was such a cool story. Like, again, after I watched the first one, I was kind of like, I don't really agree with the message of this one. Like, I didn't like that. And then the second one made it make a little bit more sense, made the
Mm,
message a little bit less not good to people. Very, I don't want to spoil anything because I think it's very
please
important
don't.
you go
Yeah.
in unbiased to this, but like, I didn't align with the message that it was sending until then the second one happened. And then I was like, okay, now what's being said makes sense. Now it's a little bit more clear. I could not recommend watching the two of those things enough. I am so glad I did that. I didn't love Boy and the Heron, but I'm glad that we had another Miyazaki. I know a lot of people did really like that. And also Suzume, I believe, was at the beginning. We saw it at the beginning of this
April.
year.
Yep.
Yeah, it was April. Oh, God, it was even later. I was thinking like January of this
It was
past year,
the
but yeah,
day
no, it was
before I went
April.
to Japan.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, and that was a fun ride. It's Makoto Shinkai, man. Like, just so good. So yeah, we can't just put him in any awards and he'd win them all. I at least in our community, I think he would. Yeah, most of us really like him a lot, and I'm one of those people. So yeah, that's all I've got at least. Thank you guys again for listening, and do a whole nother year of Watch Club and watching a shit ton of anime with you guys. I mean, I only watched 40 shows this year, so
Noob.
I was slacking a little bit this year, guys. But I appreciate all the conversations and late night voice chats and all the fun that we've had. Can't wait to do it again next year.
Yep. And I also want to touch on best movie. I know this was one of the category this year. I did feel like it was between Boy and the Heron and Suzume personally, just based off like what people had access to. And as much as I loved Boy and the Heron, Suzume was my favorite anime movie of last year. So shout out to that. But another great year of anime. Honestly, maybe my favorite year of anime ever. Another great year of the pod, another great year of having great company. Join our Discord if you want to be a part of the community. We are very active and welcoming. But thank you so much. If you want to support us, like, comment, subscribe, leave a review on whatever platform you're watching or listening to us on. Otherwise, we'll see you again in 12 months for the 2024 anime year. Hopefully, Miles isn't sick. Hopefully, Pat gets a haircut.
I'll be sick.
Miles will be
Wait.
sick, and Pat will have very, very long hair. Those things are inevitable. So, thank you again so much, and we will see you next time. Peace.
Bye bye.